Now, this does lead us to Nitro. Did not sell out.
Ooh. Uh-oh.
Oh, man. Trouble's coming. And that actually was... And it was not a bad show. It wasn't a great show, but it wasn't a bad show. And you know what's great about this Nitro? I'm going to praise this Nitro momentarily here. So, about a month ago, we were reviewing Nitro, and I was all pissed off because it was the same show every single week.
Right.
Well, finally, things have changed. Now we've got an NWO, and we've got a Wolfpack. Great. They're building up to a feud. WCW's on the back burner. Nobody gives a shit about them. That's patently obvious. But they're building up a feud between those two, and they're also planting a seed for an internal split of the black and white as Bret Hart is fixing to turn on Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
I watched this show and I thought, it's going off the rails. And, total bullshit's coming. But right now they have a plan. It just all went awry.
So Nitro 142, also June 1st, 1998.
Before we begin, can I remind us that when Nitro went off the air last week, the Red and Black had given Sting a shirt, and he was about to do something, and they went off the air.
Right.
Did we have a recap of what happened?
No. All we had was, throughout the show, apparently Thunder ended the exact same way. With Sting holding a black and red t-shirt and conflicted. So they opened with a video showing the many faces of Sting over the years.
Mike Tenay said, "The future of professional wrestling hangs in the balance," regarding Sting and a t-shirt.
Say it once, I'll say it 1,000 times. WCW's video packages are garbage.
Pretty much.
They're
This
still
is better than
stuck,
many, but it's
stuck in the 80s is what they are.
This is high school level at best.
Yeah, no, I know. You're right.
They're barely better than we watched those 86 shows, 87 shows. Those videos are better. Was this any better or worse than that Ric Flair video we've seen 9,000 times?
It may have been exactly the same.
It was exactly the
Sting instead
same.
of Ric Flair. A limousine arrived, and J.J. Dillon got out, followed by Dallas Page, Booker T, and Goldberg.
What a crew. That's Team WCW.
You know what? That is a better Team WCW than I would have thought of before the show.
That's true.
They have 3 solid guys. Had clips from Thunder of Lex Luger trying to recruit Sting into the Wolfpack.
Wasn't it funny that we just watched an NWA show and Luger cut a great promo, and then here he was cutting another great promo? I think we've seen
10 years later.
We've seen so many bad promos in 2017 that Lex Luger is all of a sudden like a good promo.
I buy that.
This was not his reputation.
No.
High standards.
Standards have, in fact, slipped in the era of 20-minute, badly written scripts. Jerry Flynn versus Ernest Miller.
Speaking of bad.
I could not believe they opened with this.
They had a...
I was into the show until these two guys came out, and I was immediately, mentally done with it.
This is basically the worst UWFI match you ever saw here on Nitro. As long as they stuck to chops and kicks, judo throws, it was okay. But then they tried to run the ropes, and disaster. It went way too long. Cat won with a missed kick. Am I wrong on that?
No. You know what's funny is there was that famous Benoit Regal match at the Pillman Memorial Show.
Yes.
Where they went 20 minutes and it was unbelievable and they never hit the ropes once.
Yep.
Why did these guys even have to hit the ropes?
I don't know.
No one could just say, go in there and have a fake MMA fight and just get out of there. Why do you have to do pro wrestling if you can't?
The Wolfpack arrived in their own limo.
Fans went crazy.
Larry was blown away by the cheers for these people.
Yeah, keep in mind, at the end of last week's show and at the beginning of this week's show, the announcers are still pro WCW, and they can't understand why anybody would be cheering for the NWO Black and Red.
Yeah. Wolfpack came out to their new song.
So dope.
It was awesome. Till the 18th time I heard it on this show.
Shivani openly demanded all the announcers shut up and listen to the song.
He did. He's like, hey, they got new music. Let's all be quiet and listen to it. I was like, did they do that when the NWO first debuted?
No, they did
hey,
not.
these guys got cool music. Let's listen. Then we'll do commentary.
So I love that all these guys come out and they've all got the black and red shirts on and they've all got custom gear like Nash and Savage. And then there's Rick Rude, who's still just wearing a brown suit.
Fine with me. He was the best guy on the show.
So Nash did a survey. Lex tried to recruit Sting. Here's where it hit me, by the way. Why does everyone want Sting on their team? He got like one win in 2 years, and his title reign was a disaster.
Well, on paper, he's the best.
No, actually.
But in
on
real
paper,
life,
it says LLLL.
It is baffling.
So, let's see. So Luger's running his mouth for a while, talking about how great it is to be a part of the Wolfpack. He says, we've all been in the limo. And he looks at Nash. He says, we were having fun in the back of the limo. And then he turns and he looks at Liz. And then everyone else turns and they all look at Liz. And then Savage looks around at everyone turning and looking. He looks at what they're looking at. He looks at Liz and he pauses and he pats Lex on the back. What the hell was that? That was so creepy. That was really, really, really creepy. So, Luger referred to Hogan as limousine riding and jet flying here with Ric Flair and Limbo.
Right.
They went on and on and on and on and on. And finally, Luger and Nash challenged Giant and Hogan to a match. Clips of Bret Hart on Thunder trying to recruit Sting. Raven and Saturn versus Public Enemy.
May I?
Please.
This fucking match was so... He's already laughing. This was the worst fucking match I've ever seen in my life. So, first off, Raven comes out with his geeks in their...
The Wright Squad.
Wright Squad outfit. And apparently it was not a symbolic firing. Raven actually fired the flock to get Saturn back. So they're a team now. So, they're a team... And Raven's still not getting along with the guy. He's trying to command him. Saturn's not happy about it. So then this fucking match starts. It's heat on Saturn. It's absolutely the sloppiest thing you've ever seen. He starts making his own comeback, and it's totally sloppy.
Who decided to do Raven and Saturn versus the Public Enemy in an all-in-the-ring, no weapons, just wrestling match?
Raven gets a blind tag, accidentally hits Saturn, which also they fucked that spot up. Raven and Saturn go face-to-face. Public Enemy takes them out with a mistimed clothesline. Rocco hits a flip dive on both of them. Hits Saturn with their finish, which is a drive-by, but for reasons unknown, they don't pin the guy. They decide, well, we could win, but we got to put Raven through this fucking table. So Raven's on a table, and of course, it's WCW. So instead of getting just like a real cheap table that's going to break, they get a table that you'd see at like one of those 1950s schools where they took apart a World War II submarine to make the frame for it and they got oak on top. This fucking thing does not break, and Raven is just smashed by this Rocco Rock. Rocco goes down, and I guess Raven told him, do it again. So we just got to stop the match because we got to get our fucking shit in here. Raven stays on the table, which is collapsed. The legs collapsed, by the way. Rocco goes back in. He does it again. Saturn runs Grunge into a chair that Rocco is holding. Raven gets the pin. At least the disaster of a match is over. But there's more. Saturn is angry because Raven stole the pin. That's what they wrote down on paper. But what they did in real life was Saturn hits his move and then he just stops the match. And he turns around, and he walks to the ropes, and he raises his hand, and he starts celebrating like the match is over, like seconds go by. And then Raven jumps on top and pins this guy. Now Saturn is all of a sudden mad. So Raven's upset. A fucking train wreck of a match. That's not the only reason. He's upset now that Konnan has been rehired. And he explains, I got these security guys to keep myself safe. And to keep you safe, Saturn, I've rehired the flock. Saturn's angry, even though they just got back together. The flock is out here. He signed Saturn to face Konnan at the Great American Bash. Saturn is not happy. And do you know what I got out of all of this? Besides the fact that it was absolutely terrible television and a horrible match. Raven is trying so hard to be in ECW, but he's in WCW.
Right.
That's the whole story of his career in this company. He can't accept that he's in this shithole. He's trying so hard to bring the magic of ECW to this company. And it's a disaster.
Public Enemy is so bad
They're horrible.
That even their table blew spots.
That's true.
They're
Good
so
one, Craig. I like that.
bad.
Yeah, this is very, very terrible. I had kind of the same thought about Raven because his two biggest flunkies in ECW were goofballs and Stevie Richards and the Blue Meanie.
Yes.
And he's trying to make all his flunkies goofballs here too. He's trying to just do the same shit. We had clips of geeks from Arkansas watching Nitro.
It's like, you know what it's like? It's like when you go to Vegas. You know this, Vinny. And like the first day you're all gung-ho and you're like, man, I'm going to drink on the plane. And then like right when I get off the plane, I'm going to drink.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to go gamble and I'm going to go party and I'm going to ruin this town. And then by like day 3, you're a broken mess.
Yes.
And it's like you tried to fight Vegas and you're just never going to win. That's exactly what's happening with Raven. He's like, I hate it here. I'm making a lot of money. This place sucks, but I'm going to make this work. And he's trying so hard, and it's a losing battle.
He's learning the stuff that works in front of drunk adults in a Philadelphia bingo hall does not work in front of national TV.
In Georgia.
Or wherever they were.
First time I went to Vegas, the wife and I stayed out till about 3 o'clock in the morning, gambling and imbibing and having a great time. Day 2, we were in bed by 10:30 and ordered a pizza.
Yep. It will own you. Vegas never loses.
You fly into Vegas and you just look out and you just see the strip and all the hotels and you're like, man, I'm going to have the run of this place. And then like 4 days later, you're taking off and you're looking down and it's like,
I'm never coming here again.
it just keeps going. It never shuts down. It just keeps going and you're a victim.
You're flying out, defeated, broken,
Yes.
miserable, and not miserable, but defeated and broken for sure. And then you watch another plane going down and you think, someone on that plane is thinking the same thing I thought 4 days ago.
Exactly. You're in the line. Like, when you get there, there's the big line for the taxis, and everybody's so excited they're getting their taxi to go to town. Mm-hmm. And then, when you're coming to go home, you see that same line of people, and they're so excited, and you're just like, you guys are so stupid. You just turn around right now.
Don't you know what you're in for?
Just go home.
We're going to Vegas in August, and I can't wait.
I can't wait either, but I'm going to be leaving thinking the same thing.
I know, but I love it. Alex Wright and Chavo Guerrero Jr. doing this match. It's a wrestling match, and 2 minutes in, Chavo snaps. He takes him down and lays in the ground and pound. Has to be pulled off. Then like a minute later, Alex puts him in an STF. Chavo could not tap out fast enough.
What?
It's true.
Why?
I don't know. Especially,
Why are you talking about what happened next?
well, Eddie comes out because after tapping out, Chavo pops up to his feet and wants to fight more.
I think that's why theoretically he wanted to tap out quickly so he could get back on the offense on this guy. He didn't care.
Did
if
he think
wanted,
it was a best of 3 falls
It
match?
doesn't work like that.
I understand that, but I think
Those aren't the rules.
I think in storyline he wanted to get out of this move quickly so he could start.
Is he a kickboxer who's trying MMA and figures if he taps out, everyone will think the other guy's a pussy?
Again, I didn't write this. It's just what I got out of this.
So Eddie tries to make peace between Chavo and Alex. Alex just disappeared. Eddie cuts a promo saying, Chavo, I just talked to the whole family, your dad, my brothers, grandma. Everyone's very proud of you and the change you've made. We don't have to wrestle anymore. Chavo says, no. Eddie, you're my idol. I want to wrestle you so I can learn. And Eddie is still trying to get out of the match. He still thinks it's a horrible idea.
Why? Why is Eddie scared of Chavo? He just tapped out in a split second to Alex Wright, the dancing Nitro girl.
I guess the
This is so stupid.
I guess the idea is that crazy is scarier than Goldberg. I don't know.
Well, it is until you just lose.
I don't know. But Eddie wants out of the match until the moment Chavo says, and Eddie, I think I can even beat you. And Eddie throws in the brakes. He's like, okay, part of me is afraid to fight this guy.
That's when the shit went down.
Part of me wants to teach this fucker a lesson. He was conflicted. He didn't know what to do, and he just left the ring. Now, if the idea is that Chavo is dangerous and Eddie's afraid to fight him, and Alex is not on the pay-per-view, why did he not just beat Alex here? I don't know. We've established how stupid this was. Tony Schiavone's in the ring. He introduces Randy Savage. Roddy Piper's music
God.
plays. There's
Remember
a pause.
last week I thought this was so great? It wasn't so great that they needed to replay it.
This was new.
It was the same thing.
No, this may have been worse, actually.
It was worse because they played Piper's music first.
Yeah.
And then Savage came out. And then guess what?
Then they played the Wolfpack theme.
Piper came out.
And then Piper came out anyway. So they're yelling at each other and arguing back and forth, how they can't trust each other. And Savage wants a singles match after the tag match. I thought that was already established. This goes on forever and ever and ever. And Savage, the ending of this, and I'm not making this up, this is word for word. He didn't give a damn about Bret Hart's shirt. He didn't give a damn about Bret Hart's underwear. And he left. I'm not making that up.
Well, I don't either.
Shivani interviewed Dylan. Dylan vowed loyalty to Sting.
He made a plea for Sting, and he's promising him all this stuff and this support and everything like that, but he does say, I can't promise that you will go to Hollywood and be a big A-list movie star like Hulk Hogan. He said that.
Yes. He was a horrible pitch man.
He's terrible.
Before I convince you to join my side, let me point out to you how great the other offer is. The NWO Black and White arrive.
I hate this every single week, but at least it was different this time. There was a point.
By the end, there was a point. It took him a long time to get there. And by that, I mean it took him a long time to get from the limo to the ring. Then the music played. Nitro, I don't know if you guys ever had this problem. I never have it with Raw, only with the Retro Nitro. Things just freeze. It looks like it's buffering, but there's no little spinning circle.
Never have that problem.
I can't think. There's like the 10-second and 10 rewind and fast forward buttons. Those don't work, and I reload things. It's a pain in the ass. So I was going through all of this, and I finally got it working again. And then I watched him do this entrance for 5 minutes. So Hogan makes a pitch for Sting. Oh, Lex and Kevin Nash had challenged Hogan and Giant to a match tonight. Hogan accepted here. And then Hogan said he has faith in Bret Hart.
His partner.
Yeah. And Piper had said Bret Hart never wore an NWO shirt. And so Bret unbuttons his shirt here, his overshirt, to show a Hulk Hogan t-shirt. This proves his loyalty, he says. Hogan's convinced. He runs his mouth for a while. But yes, Bret has not worn an NWO shirt. He's clearly fucking with Hogan. He has a plan in mind.
Now he's close to that title.
He's still willing to beat the hell out of Randy Savage and Roddy Piper first. So he's still kind of a dick.
I don't know, it might have just been me, but when Hogan was cutting his promo, Bret looked completely bored.
Well, usually. His whole WCW run is...
It's hard not to.
Actually, it was, when they were in the ring later, it was an even better example.
Yeah.
Konnan versus Lenny Lane. This was a man wrestling himself.
It's true.
Lenny stood there as Konnan circled him doing holds, and then Lenny sat there as Konnan circled him doing holds. They kept trading cradles. Lenny did the worst La Magistral ever. And then Konnan won with a cradle DDT and Tequila Sunrise.
I don't know how he's not getting over with his ab shine.
Absolution. Yeah. Shivani brought Kurt Hennig and Rick Rude out for a promo.
Abhorrent. That's what I call his segments.
They reminded us Hennig had a U.S. title shot against Goldberg at the Great American Bash. Made some jokes about how they were not able to say the word perfect. And Hennig's out there in crutches, by the way. He says, look, in preparation for this match against Goldberg, I have been working out with Brad Rangans and Don Fry.
And Brian Johnston.
And I have suffered a twisted knee. We need Konnan out here, they say. They bring Konnan out. They say, Konnan, J.J. Dillon has booked me in Mickey Mouse towns all over the U.S. against Goldberg. Clearly a conspiracy to wear me down before the bash. I need you to fight in those towns for me. Konnan had nothing to worry about, or told them they had nothing to worry about. So he take care of it because he was Bowdy Bowdy and Rowdy Rowdy. Hennig promised to face Goldberg at the bash and said by the time he was done, they'd be calling him Bill Gold Turd.
Rick Rude saved this segment here. Rick Rude was so awesome. Rick Rude spoke and you just listened because you were afraid if you didn't, he was going to catch you and you'd get in big trouble.
True.
He'd beat your ass. He's so great. And he called him Wee Willie. And it's like, no man could get away with calling Goldberg Wee Willie, except Rick Rude.
Except ravishing Rick Rude.
Yeah.
Eddie Guerrero versus Finley.
This was a great match until
You
This
don't
is so
say.
great for 2.5 minutes.
Gosh.
Finley hit the best body slam of all time.
Right?
And Sting body slammed the Giant later. He grabbed Eddie. He threw him up for this body slam so high that had he let go, Eddie was just flown upside down up to the ceiling. Finley had to grab him and hold him down to earth.
He had him straight up and down for a body slam.
And still going up.
Yeah, he would have spiked him.
Yeah.
If he hadn't have turned. Awesome.
So eventually, there's more. This was so awesome that even when they fucked stuff up, it was still awesome. Finley goes to whip Eddie in, and you can tell from the way Finley's standing and his arms out that he wanted Eddie to reverse him. And Eddie doesn't. Eddie just keeps running. So now Eddie's hitting the ropes. Neither guy's got any idea what's going on. Eddie comes off, just hooks a sleeper. Finley transitions it into a fireman's carry slam, and they just keep going. It was beautiful. And then, out of nowhere, Chavo hits the ring, doesn't attack anyone, doesn't lay a finger on anyone. Keep all this in mind. The ref says, hey, Chavo's in the ring. Here's a DQ. Match is over now. Chavo begs Eddie to hit him. Eddie wants nothing to do with this. Finley is all too happy to take the win. They were in Washington, D.C. This that's right.
This was so great. You know what's so great about this? I thought this was like 1,000 times better than any of those goofy DX Invasion skits. Like 1,000 times better. Last week, J.J. Dillon said, Jericho, if you want me to overturn this decision where Dean Malenko dressed up as Ciclope, won the Battle Royal, and then got a match with you and won the title, if you can find precedent to a match being overturned on these grounds, I will reverse the decision. So Chris Jericho has gone to Washington, D.C., where his plan is to speak to Bill Clinton, apparently.
that was one plan.
He's going to talk to the President of the United States.
I believe he actually approached all three branches of the government. Legislative, judicial, and presidential.
Yep.
He tried to get a meeting with the Supreme Court. He tried to get into the White House. He was rebuffed in these efforts. He was standing with all the other whack job protesters that have always been in D.C. for the past 100 years, waving signs of whatever cause they have. His just said conspiracy victim. Finally, he was allowed into the Library of Congress. And he's sitting on the floor, surrounded by books that are a foot thick each. Just going page by page by page, muttering to himself, where's the section on WCW title belts?
You know, it's completely preposterous until I realized that I believe Death of WCW is in the Library of Congress.
If you could have found that book.
They've got like everything there.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that he found in some obscure Frank A. Gotch book exactly what he was looking for.
By the way, Jericho wearing a three-piece suit and his wacky hair.
The hair, yes.
Ponytail on top.
And scraggly beard. He's trying to look professional, but still look like Jericho. Yes, this is very creative and very funny.
It was awesome.
Then he had a wrestle, which ordinarily is not terrible news.
But
it was Hoovy.
He had a really good day last week.
I remember that.
yes,
He had a very, very bad day.
Did he
here
get
tonight.
all his hit spots? They were all last week, and there was none left.
He botched a diving Hurricane Rana,
Almost killed himself.
whacked his head on the canvas.
Hoovy was so bad here that he got booed.
He botched a facebuster. That's where he got booed. It was going to be the Kidman deal, but he took I don't even know what happened. It was a disaster. And then please explain this to me. They're doing this match. The ref is distracted. And a 7'2" man comes down the aisle, Reese from the flock. He gets in the ring and he kills Hoovy. And the announcers say, Reese has a personal vendetta against Hoovy.
They didn't care.
And I was like, who? What? What?
he has been attacking him for like 3 weeks straight.
Why?
I have no
What
idea.
is happening here?
Maybe he's mad because he's short.
I don't know.
There's a lot of guys he'd be beating up then, like everybody.
That's true.
Since he's the tallest guy in the
The
fucking
Giant would
roster.
qualify. Yeah. The only thing that you didn't touch on here was after all these blown spots, Jericho still allowed this guy to try a Hoovy driver. Gosh. I'd have called every audible
Dude.
on earth.
And he killed him with it.
Not
And it
only
went as
that,
bad as you would expect.
Hoovy did like the tope into a Hurricane Rana on the floor after he screwed all this up.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but after he hit the Hoovy driver, Jericho's immediately selling like just one part of his back. I don't know if Hoovy drove him onto his own foot when he
Possible.
sat with it. It looked horrible.
Yeah, this is bad.
You know what this was? Bad.
It was bad.
Just want to confirm the badness of this.
So bad. Highlights of Booker and Benoit from last week, and then on Thunder, and then on Saturday night. So Benoit was coming in tonight up 2-1 in the series. So we have Benoit and Booker T. It's one of those matches where they're wrestling for like 6 or 7 minutes, and you think, this is good, but it's on the special. And it's like 1 minute of awesomeness, and they do a finish. Last minute was great. And Booker makes his comeback and the place is going nuts, and he tries a suplex, but Benoit cuts him off and locks in the crossface for the win. Now he's up 3-1. They re-aired the Sting video package, the same way that opened the show. Dallas Page versus Scotty Riggs. Like 10 seconds in, Sick Boy comes off the middle rope and attacks Dallas Page. This is not a DQ.
No.
Chavo got disqualified for stepping through the ropes.
Well, Vinny, I can believe this because you see sometimes in UFC when a ref stops a fight too early, he gets criticized, and next thing you know, he's stopping fights too late.
Interesting.
Sure. Yes.
So he's suggesting he was scolded backstage.
Yeah, he was like, why did you call it a DQ? The guy never touched anybody. So then he's like, oh man, I need to do better next time. Mm-hmm. Now he's letting dudes beat the shit out of each other in front of him, and that's okay.
I can't believe you made that make sense.
Hey, I try my best.
That's astonishing. It didn't matter. Page fought them both off. Diamond cutter both of them, won.
Bobby made sure to say Riggs would keep an eye out for Dallas Page next time.
Yes. Heenan was great. Goldberg versus Parka. So I had been told this was a 7-star match.
Mm-hmm.
May not be given enough credit.
Parka comes out and he's Parka. Then Goldberg comes out and he's Goldberg. And he gets to the ring and Parka is standing in a chair. He's got the chair set up and he's standing on it. And I think if he turns around and Goldberg spears him off this chair, this would be the best match I ever saw. That's not what they did, but what they did do is almost as good.
Now we need to preface this by saying that we do not advocate hard chair shots to the head.
No.
And out of fairness, this was a plastic chair.
Yes.
But
not
still.
quite as bad as a steel chair. We recommend against this. We do not condone this. It's a stupid idea. But it sure didn't work in this match. I don't know how else to say it.
So
It's the past.
here's the entire
It was
match.
19 years ago.
Here's the entire match. Parka is menacing Goldberg with the chair. Goldberg giggles, puts his belt down, leans forward, and points to his head. Parka hits him with the plastic chair as hard as he possibly can. Goldberg no-sells the thing entirely. He just snaps his head back and forth and snarls and roars. And Parka dances, but then turns around and Goldberg spears him to death, hits a jackhammer, pins him, looks in the camera and screams, "You can't hurt me!"
The best part of this actually was the replay. Again, we're not advocating chair shots to the head, but when Goldberg took this chair shot to the head and then got really, really fired up,
Oh, yeah.
here's some inside commentary here on this match. I don't know if you noticed this or not, but Parka tore his ACL in this match.
Oh.
Taking a spear.
I read that as well.
Now, I rewound it multiple times to watch it. I have no earthly idea how he tore his ACL in this match. His knee did not get twisted. He did not fall down in a weird way. He took a perfectly fine spear and flat back bump. But Goldberg hit him, I guess, with such velocity that he separated his A from his CL. This match was astounding. And actually, to recap what I've said for 3 weeks now, Goldberg is a delight. Go ahead.
He's the best. Main event of Hulk Hogan and Giant versus Kevin Nash and Lex Luger. First of all, Giant comes out and he and Stinger are still the tag champs. So he is wearing both belts around his waist, one over the other, because he's the Giant.
I totally forgot about that.
That was a great gimmick, and he really should have just defended the belts by himself for a while. Why not? He could have been Public Enemy a couple times or something. So the whole match was a house show match. Went about 5 minutes. Nash did his "I'm not scared" finger wiggle thing about 7,000 times. And then Hogan just attacked with a title belt for the DQ. Great main event.
It was a terrible match. Hogan and Luger doing spots together was appallingly bad. And yeah, Nash, what happened was, to recap the match a little better at least,
Really?
they're beating on Luger for a long time. Luger's trying to make the tag. This is very important, actually. This is very important. The whole idea of this match, as described earlier in the show, is the Wolfpack wants Sting to join them. The NWO Black and White also would like Sting to join them, right?
Yes.
Correct.
So Nash and Luger make a challenge to the NWO to have a match, and they vow to show Sting why he should join the Wolfpack.
Sure.
Okay, so in this match, The black and white cut off Luger, and they beat on him, and they beat on him, and they beat on him, and he's trying to tag, and he's trying to tag, and he can't, and he fails for so long that finally Nash just gets in the ring, and it goes to a DQ. So they proved nothing.
No.
The whole concept of the match was to prove that they were better than the NWO, and when the match was over, the NWO, the black and white, was clearly better.
I'm pretty sure that Hogan said the same thing.
Yep.
And he was so desperate to impress Sting that he just grabbed a belt and started hitting guys for a DQ. If I were Sting, I'd have jumped ship immediately to Smoky Mountain or something. Just get out of here.
Well, that's not what happened.
Match was nothing but punch, kick, punch, kick.
You're forgetting the long stretches of standing there doing nothing.
Gosh, it was boring.
So at this point, the crowd all gets to their feet. The announcers note they are in anticipation of something big going down.
Really?
Now that the wrestling is over, we can get to the important stuff. Sting descends from the rafters. He removes his trench coat to reveal the NWO black and white shirt. Everyone boos. Hogan gives him a big hug, but then Sting lays Hogan out with a clothesline. And then Sting grabs the giant and gives him the easiest body slam you ever saw. Mm-hmm. It's one of the best body slam ever if Finley hadn't destroyed all notions of what a body slam could be with Eddie Guerrero earlier.
Great.
And of course, Sting tears off the shirt, which gave him a lot of trouble.
Yes.
Sting's
newfound respect for Hulk Hogan here.
Sting's got his black and white shirt with a black and red shirt underneath it. Mm-hmm. Both size triple XL. Maybe 5XL.
Well, you had to hide the harness.
Yeah.
They're so gigantic. And he's trying so hard to tear this shirt off, and it won't come off. And he won't just take the shirt off.
No.
He's got to tear it off.
Yes.
Time stood still. It's sad.
Hogan always pre-cut his shirts, see?
He had more experience. So the Wolfpack music plays. Everyone's happy. And all I could think at this point was, they've done more to get Sting over for leaving WCW
Right.
than they ever did as champion of WCW. He's a much bigger star right now.
This was the first time
And he's not even the biggest star in the group.
This is the first time after a main event on Nitro in months I had a smile on my face.
So does Sting.
This was great.
Sting was so happy. He smiled for the first time in 2 years.
Yes,
He's
that's what I
all
wrote.
excited.
Yeah.
He's happy. And then, to bring it all full circle, the announcers are so excited that Sting has joined the Wolfpack. And they are talking about how the Wolfpack is the strongest organization in wrestling today.
Yeah.
The announcers finally jumped ship.
They did.
Even the announcers don't care about WCW anymore.
And then the best thing I've seen all time, all my life, the black and whites at ringside beside themselves. They don't know what to do. The Wolfpack's in the ring celebrating. And they play that song again. That new song that debuted at the start of the show. And Kevin Nash loses his mind. And he begins to dance. Mm-hmm. And he was not holding back. His hands are up on top of his head like wolf ears. He's kicking his legs from side to side. You've never seen Kevin Diesel. Diesel.
Oz.
Oz. Well, ironic.
Vegas.
Ironic you should bring up Oz because the visual I had was the Scarecrow from the Wizard of Oz dancing, but 7 feet tall.
Yep.
It was a sight to behold, let me tell you. So yeah, that was over, and I'm so happy for Sting, who's the pressure's off him now.
Yeah.
He has friends again.
He's finally got buddies.
Yes.
He's finally just...
He's
He's found a cool group of guys.
Yes.
Unlike these damn losers that he's been
WCW.
defending for 2 years now.
Yes. So there you go.
This was an amazing show the more I think about it. This was the day WCW died.
Oh.
Everybody bailed on WCW. Sting bailed, the announcers bailed, the fans bailed. Nobody cared. What's that face for? Oh, no.
I just looked. Apparently, they're going to do a women's Money in the Bank match.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Jeez.
Yeah, I was talking about that today. Yep.
And then I looked at this.
Jim's going to be thrilled.
I looked at the picture here. I was almost certain they actually had pictures of Charlotte twice, but one of them is Carmella.
All you need to know, everybody, is I looked over at Vinny and his face dropped, and I seriously thought that he was going to tell me that somebody had died. But instead,
No one died.
The women are having a Money in the Bank
It's
match.
not Nia Jackson pay-per-view.
Nobody died yet.
Nia Jax is in it?
I'm sorry, Tamina. Actually, that was an honest mistake.
Either way, Tamina's in it?
Yes.
Oh, my God. Oh. I hang my head.
Well, let's focus on Nitro.
Well, that's it. It's over.
All right.
It is over.
Fine review.
That's all I got.
All right, everybody, we're out of here. Back on Thursday, where Vinny will talk about SmackDown and this week's new show. We're going to keep the Superstar Shakeup up for a while, just kind of like WWE does, and eventually we'll just give it up. But for now, we're going to keep it going, and Tom will do Raw tomorrow, Vinny will do SmackDown on Thursday, and all the other good stuff. So, I don't know what Granny's doing. I thought it was knock-knock jokes. Wait, we have more knock-knock jokes.
Yeah.
Look at his face now.
I hope she comes up with some more moves of her. You know?
Dude, she's got so many moves. She should have her own Wikipedia page.
Now, the face finish move from last week was...
Yeah, that one's not going to be topped anytime soon. A face finish.
Almost did a spit take with my coffee.
We're going to wrap up
Let's
on that
end the
note,
show
everybody.
immediately.
That's it. We'll talk to you again after a while.
Good night.
Bye.